Hello, and welcome to the Shit Show. This is a show where I discuss Don't Starve Together's workshop characters and decide if they're shit or the shit. Today, as requested by the man himself, we will be looking at one of Cherry Zion's characters. This one is Wisniowski, the sleepyhead. Starting off with the portrait, the art is, well, alright. It fits the theme of Don't Starve a little bit, but in the screenshot you can see Worker Bottom and Wisniowski together. Definitely stands out. He's a bit colorful to fit the art, I'd think. Why is his face pink? Also, there's the name Wisniowski. It follows the W rule, but how was this name even created? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's, Wisniowski. It also doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, obviously. I had a hard time remembering it when like taking breaks and going back to making this video. And yeah, it's a self-insert, so this a red flag, I'd say. So the meat of the character, the stats: 150 health, 140 hunger, 230 sanity. There's nothing really special here except the sanity is really high, but I don't see a real problem with that. Let's see if that high sanity actually makes sense to the character, though. Reading over everything, he's a character based on sleeping. Sleeping is really not a huge part of the game. It's best to use crockpot foods for sanity and health, so sleeping can be seen as a waste of resources. Sleeping is also way less useful multiplayer because you can't skip time. You could basically sleep through most of a season single player if you wanted to. So let's start off with the pros. And the cons, because they weren't separated on the mod page, although the mod page was done pretty well. So he can sleep any time of day except during combat. Okay, this would be a lot more useful in single player, like I said. Otherwise, I don't see anything inherently good about this just yet. So the main point of this character, he has his own bedroll with infinite use. He gains 25% more sanity and health from sleeping, but consumes 50% more hunger. Whoop-de-doo on the hunger part, but let's see if that sanity and health buff makes sleeping more worthwhile than eating, healing, or sanity foods. Here's Wilson versus Wisniowski sleep comparison. I used the fur roll because it fit the scenario more. So as you can see, Wisniowski has way better sleep benefits, and as Wilson, I even started to starve, despite Michael Wazowski over here supposedly draining more hunger as he sleeps. Seeing as the bedroll is infinite and can be used at any time, is this character on the path to being overpowered? The only downside I see to this is wasted time, yet you don't even have to cook anything besides meatballs. The only time I could see someone making health food as this character is for fighting things. While the stats aren't too hard to manage, you can manage your stats at any time for no cost by using this bedroll. For some unknown reason, he can read all books and craft sleepy time stories. This is just an unneeded addition. I don't see why this was even added. Sure, sleepy time stories make sense because this whole character is based around sleep. But why the hell would he have the reading ability and the ability to craft one of Wickerbottom's books? So now let's get into Wisniowski's sanity. He has multiple different little effects when it comes to sanity, but But the one that makes the most sense out of them is that he drains 30% more sanity during the night because he should be sleeping. Obviously that makes the most sense, but these other sanity things don't. For some odd reason, he loses a lot of sanity near butterflies. I guess this is just a thing added to give character, because otherwise I see no problem. If there's one good thing about this, he has custom voice lines when he walks near a butterfly, so I mean, cool, I guess. I stood near a butterfly for a few seconds and it only dropped like 1 or 2 sanity, so seeing as this is a self-insert, why are you afraid of butterflies? Another odd one, he drains 25% less sanity around monsters. Why? Are you just a fearless person? You know, except butterflies? What the hell is up with you? And finally, the last sanity effect he has. All sanity effects are 30% more effective, as in sanity drains faster or gains faster. I don't see the point of almost all of these pros and cons to the character. That's the problem with self-inserts. They tend to be really spread out, so there's no huge focus, and balance becomes an issue. The actual character, like what they are like, becomes an issue. So if it was more focused and also the pros and cons made sense, this would I'd be liking this character a lot more right now. So, before we move off stats into his starting items, with which he has 2, he has one con that has interested me. He gets groggy at night. So let's see if this is actually what I think it is. And it's sorta what I thought. While he has the groggy effect, he still moves at the same speed. If he did actually have the groggy effect at night, I feel like would encourage sleeping then, because you wouldn't be able to do much when you're slow. This would round off some edges. Otherwise, this little effect is 100% useless. I don't know if it was a bug or intentional, but that should be changed. So far he seems like he doesn't even have an actual downside. Good stats, good pros, and he also has that good-ass bedroll. So let's move into starting items. A lot of characters have these, and they're usually dumb, like a high-damage, infinite durability weapon or something. Luckily, Wisniowski doesn't have a huge out-of-place sword. Instead, he just has a hat and a bedroll. So his hat, a sleep cap. Only Wisniowski can wear it, and it doesn't lose durability. It provides a small amount of insulation. Seems kind of trivial, just a less effective winter hat with infinite durability. But wait, there's more. For some reason, it acts as a 4-slot backpack. Why? I don't know! To be honest, that backpack part really helps the scatteredness of the character's attributes, so that's not very good. So, his bedroll. Other than having the appearance of a red reskin of a bedroll, it restores 65% more sanity, but 25% less health. Wow, cool, great. This adds to the sanity core of the character, though, so it's nice that the character's getting more of a focus here. It has infinite durability, and when you look at how much it heals you for, and how quickly, this does seem a bit too good. It'd be probably better if a slightly expensive recipe were to be added. I think that balanced it out pretty well. It can only be picked up by him, so that's good, because if every character had this bomb-ass sleeping bag, he would be a little overpowered. So we're done the stats part of the character. It did seem a little rocky, the balancing, and it was very spread out. All of his attributes, like, some of them didn't even make sense. So now I'm just gonna look at his custom voice and his custom voice lines. Let's see. So Wisniowski is voiced by Glockenspiel. Don't ask why, because I don't know. Testing these voice lines in game, they seem pretty out of place. Although the sounds he uses seem to have that feeling of like a lullaby or something like that. So that's really nice because it fits his character. He has fully scripted dialogue, which obviously isn't too hard when you are the character, but it's nice that he did all of those lines. Although I don't think he did every single line, because examining a birch tree is the same line as Womps, so that's a little sus. That's a little sus. So we're coming down to the wire here. Before we make our decision, let's go over the togetherness factor. Of course, that's what this game is all about, right? Well, there really is none with this character. The only thing I can think of is him not taking up as many healing and sanity resources because of him sleeping. Yes, there's no real big togetherness factor. Let's overview the character. While spread out, Wisniowski is a self-insert character focused on sanity and sleeping. While the art is mostly out of place, his voice and voice lines are creative. I especially like his voice. Doesn't really fit in, but it fits his character. I have trouble deciding whether or not he's really overpowered, underpowered, or basic. He doesn't seem to have a real downside, so that's a red flag. I'd say he's just a better Wilson. I'd say he's as good as maybe Wendy or Weber, but maybe he's knocking on the door to the top tier? I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to decide. It's mostly granted to his attributes being all spread out. A good character should be more simple yet creative. So let's make the decision. I had some trouble, so I let people see the script I wrote and put up a straw poll. The straw poll says that Wisniowski is, drumroll, shit.